Screams of children pierced the stone walls of Tiffauges Castle as Gilles de Rais, a knight-turned-monster, unleashed horrors that shook 15th-century France to its core. Once a hero beside Joan of Arc, his descent into depravity claimed hundreds. His execution in 1440, a spectacle of hanging and fire that scarred the land. How did a nobleman's glory twist into a nightmare of blood and ritual, a tale lost in the mists of time? Step into the shadow-drenched halls of medieval France with tales of torment, where we unveil a truth darker than any battlefield legend ever whispered. The gallows loom with menace, their flames ready to consume a fallen knight's secrets. Dare to face the abyss of his sins. In the warm haze of September 1404, a child was born into the rugged moors of Brittany, a land of ancient castles and whispering winds. Gilles de Rais, heir to a noble lineage stretching back to crusaders, grew amidst wealth and war, his early years shaped by stern tutors in Latin, swordplay, and the chivalric code. His family's estates, Château de Tiffauges, Château de Machecoul, sprawled across the Breton countryside, their towers a testament to power, their halls echoing with tales of knightly valor. By his teens, Gilles stood tall, his piercing blue eyes and golden hair a beacon on the battlefield. His mind a blend of courage and ambition that promised greatness. In 1420, at 16, he wed Catherine de Thouars, a union that swelled his lands and fortune, her dowry a glittering prize that fueled his rise. The 100 Years' War raged across France, a clash of steel and faith, and Gilles' destiny intertwined with Joan of Arc, the Maid of Orléans, whose divine visions rallied a broken nation. In 1429, at the Siege of Orléans, Gilles rode beside Joan, his sword flashing under a banner of gold, his cavalry charging through English lines with a ferocity that turned the tide. His valor shone at Patay, where his horsemen crushed the enemy, his name a hymn on soldiers' lips, earning him the title Marshal of France at just 25, a rare honor that crowned him a hero of the realm. Yet beneath his gleaming armor a shadow grew, his faith wavering as Joan's capture in 1430 left her to the flames of Rouen in 1431, a wound that festered in his soul. His wealth, once a shield, dwindled as he squandered it on lavish feasts, a troupe of actors, and a court of sycophants, his estates mortgaged to fund a life of excess that rivaled kings. By 1432, whispers of alchemy and the occult surfaced, Gilles dabbling in forbidden arts, seeking gold through grimoires smuggled from Italy, his castle a haven for sorcerers in black robes. His marriage strained, Catherine retreating to her own lands, leaving Gilles unchecked, his mind unraveling as he turned from knight to predator. In 1435, his cousin Jean de Craon died, his guiding hand gone, and Gilles' descent accelerated, his estates a labyrinth of debt. Locals spoke of missing children, their cries swallowed by the forest, but Gilles' noble status shielded him, his crimes buried beneath a veneer of piety and patronage. By 1439, his debts forced him to sell lands, his desperation a spark that ignited his darkest deeds, his name soon to be etched in blood rather than glory, a fall from grace that would echo through the ages. A chronicler noted, "From hero to haunt, Gilles' soul darkened, his castle a crypt of his own making." By the shadowy years of 1435, Tiffauges Castle transformed from a noble stronghold into a chamber of nightmares, its stone walls hiding a terror that would haunt France for centuries. Gilles de Rais, once a knight of shining honor, descended into an abyss of depravity, his vast wealth now a lure for the innocent. The castle's dungeons, damp and echoing with the drip of water, became a slaughterhouse where children, boys snatched from villages, their parents' pleas lost to the wind, met a gruesome fate at his hands. Gilles, aided by his trusted servants Etienne Corillard and Henriette Griard, abducted over 100 children, their ages ranging from 6 to 18. Their trusting smiles turned to terror in the blink of an eye. He lured them with promises of gold coins or work in his grand halls, their small hands reaching for hope, only to be dragged into darkness. Within the castle's shadowed corridors, Gilles conducted rituals, his voice intoning Latin spells from ancient tomes, his hands stained with blood as he sought the devil's favor, believing each sacrifice would summon riches or power. The children were tortured with blades and fire, their bodies mutilated beyond recognition, their cries muffled by thick walls lined with tapestries, their remains burned in massive fireplaces to erase all traces. One survivor, a trembling boy of 12, spoke of a night when a child's screams lasted for hours, his body later found in pieces, a sight that drove the witness to madness and silence. Gilles' chambers, once adorned with silks and gold, reeked of death, his bed a throne where he adorned himself in robes soaked with their blood, convinced it held mystical potency. He surrounded himself with alchemists and necromancers, their chants filling the air, their experiments a grotesque theater of despair. Villagers near Tiffauges grew silent, their children vanishing under moonless skies, their fear a shroud that cloaked the land in dread. In 1437, the disappearance of a local boy sparked outrage, his mother's wails reaching the Duke of Brittany, who demanded justice from the nobleman's shadowed keep. Gilles' servants, fearing the gallows themselves, began to confess, their words peeling back the curtain on a horror that stunned even the battle-hardened. By 1439, the castle's stench of decay drew investigators, their torches revealing charred bones, blood-stained altars, and the hollow eyes of forgotten victims. Gilles, unrepentant, claimed his acts were divine, his wealth a gift from dark forces, but the evidence, children's torn clothes, severed limbs hidden in crypts, painted a tale of unrelenting evil. A chronicler wrote, "Tiffauges became a crypt, its lord a devil in knight's garb, his castle a graveyard of innocence lost to his madness." In the sombre autumn of September 1440, Gilles de Rais faced justice in a trial that gripped Nantes, its courtroom a cauldron of nobles, priests, and a trembling crowd. Accused of heresy, sodomy, and the murder of over 140 children, Gilles stood in rusted chains, his once proud face gaunt, his blue eyes hollowed by months of confinement. The Duke of Brittany and the Bishop of Nantes presided, their crimson robes a stark contrast to the blood-stained night before them, his golden hair now dulled by grime. Witnesses poured forth, servants like Etienne Corillard confessing under the lash, parents weeping over lost sons, a boy who escaped describing a chamber where screams never ceased. Gilles' own words sealed his fate, boasting of pacts with demons, of sacrifices to summon wealth, his voice a chilling echo of a mind lost to madness, his hands trembling as he spoke of occult rites. The court, aghast, declared him guilty, his noble status no shield against the mountain of evidence. Children's bones, blood-soaked robes, altars defiled by his hands. On October 26, 1440, Gilles was led to a scaffold in Nantes' bustling marketplace, a public stage for his ignominious fall. A crowd of thousands gathered, their murmurs a storm of rage and fear, as Gilles, clad in a black robe of penitence, mounted the platform with a faltering step. He requested a priest, his final confession a whisper of remorse for the souls he'd taken, but the executioner waited, his tools gleaming in the dawn light. First came the hanging, a coarse rope tightened around Gilles' neck, his body jerked as the crowd gasped, his face purpled in a struggle that lasted agonizing seconds. Then, still alive, he was lowered to the flames. A pyre of logs ignited beneath him, his screams rising with the thick black smoke that choked the air. The fire consumed him, his flesh blistering, his bones cracking under the heat, a sight so gruesome that nobles turned away, some retching into the dust, others shielding their eyes. His ashes were scattered to the wind, his name struck from noble rolls, yet the stench of his end lingered in Nantes' streets, a bitter reminder of his crimes. A chronicler, pen trembling, penned, Gilles burned as he lived, a torch of terror, his death a judgment carved in flame upon his sins. In Tiffauges, the castle fell silent, its dungeons sealed, but the ghosts of his victims whispered in the wind, their cries a curse that echoed beyond his ashes. Gilles de Rais' downfall left a scar on France's history, his name a whispered curse that outlasted his ashes, a byword for evil that seeped into folklore. The church seized his lands, their wealth funding masses to cleanse his sins. Yet his crimes birthed legends, tales of a Bluebeard whose castle hid a devil's lair, his beard stained with the blood of the innocent. His trial, a rare instance of a noble judged like a commoner, set a legal precedent, its echoes reaching across Europe, a beacon for justice in a land of privilege. No shrines honored him, no songs sang his early valor, but his story spread through villages and courts, a warning of wealth's corruption and power's abyss. His connection to Joan of Arc, once a shield of glory, became a stain, her sanctity a stark contrast to his depravity, a tale that darkened her legacy in the eyes of some. His victims, nameless children whose graves were unmarked pits, faded from records, their suffering a silent cry that shaped a nation's moral awakening. Gilles' end mirrors the dark heart of human ambition, where glory turns to greed, where innocence falls to a man's twisted soul, a descent that echoes through time. As a knight and noble, he faced the mirror of his own making, his sword a tool of both honor and horror, his name a cautionary tale. His gruesome fate warns us that greatness can crumble into terror, its ashes a haunting reminder of humanity's fragile dance between light and the shadows of depravity. Gilles de Rais' downfall was more than an execution. It was a plunge into a hell of his own crafting, carved in the blood of innocence and sealed by the flames of justice. His screams from the gallows, the ashes of his victims, the shadow of Tiffauges Castle haunt the depths of history, a testament to a hero's fall into monstrous depths. From the fields of Orléans to the dungeons of depravity, his life was a tapestry of glory and gore, his death a spectacle that lingers in the dark corners of the past. His tale, a forgotten horror, burns bright amid the shadows, a warning etched in fire. Crave more chilling stories? Subscribe to Tales of Torment and plunge into our next video about the tortured fate of a medieval rebel. Don't let these dark secrets fade into the silence of time. Was Gilles a victim of his own madness, or a predator unleashed by the power he craved? Share your thoughts in the comments below and join us in the shadows.